Musk in conversation with Todd Howard. Please welcome your moderator, Geoff Keighley.
Hello, everyone. Boy, this is going to be really special. E3, I think, it's a show about celebrating games, but it's also about talking about the impact games have on the world and people from all walks of life talking about what games mean to them. And today, it's my honor to introduce one of our industry's most renowned designers with an individual who is charting the future of the world in so many incredible ways, who also happens to be a big gamer. So without further ado, please welcome Todd Howard and Elon Musk. Welcome to E3. Good to have you guys. So I think when we announced this, the biggest question everyone had was, do these guys know each other? Why are they together? You guys are friends, right?
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah. How did you get to know each other?
People tried to connect us over several years. Like, do you know Elon? You should know Elon. And we finally connected, I think it was when I bought my Tesla.
Yeah.
I went into the store and actually, you don't buy Tesla. You order them online when you go there. And you know in your PC, when you select Ultra for all the settings?
Yeah.
I clicked that button when ordering a Tesla. And then we connected.
Yeah. I've actually been a big fan of your games for a long time. You played Fallout 3 all the way, like, I really played that game a lot. I explored every corner of that game. Played obviously Skyrim. I did not complete Skyrim. That was intense. It was a big game. Played Fallout 4. That was great. So, and then when I was having like a birthday, I asked for hey, can I have that statue of that weird-looking guy in Fallout? With the 1950s guy with that. You know that guy?
Anyway.
So, yeah, there's a life-size statue of this 1950s dude in like a Volt jumpsuit.
It's the Vault Boy.
Vault Boy, yeah. Exactly, Vault Boy.
And you have this at home?
It was so weird having that at a party because most basically, they were like two nerds that knew what they referred to, and they're like, yeah. And everyone else is like, man, that's weird.
Now, rolling back in time, when you were a kid, you programmed a game. Is that true? Like in the early 80s?
Yeah. I mean, primitive. I was just a kid, yeah.
You're like 12, I think, right?
Yeah, I remember, I think I was probably like 10 or 11 when I programmed that game, but it got published when I was 12.
Blaster, it's called?
Yeah, it's a simple game. It was like, sort of fight, you're a space fighter and you fight an alien space freighter. Yeah. I wrote the game, did the graphics and the sound and everything. Didn't have anything else. So it was a very simple game, I want to emphasize.
When you were younger, did you ever aspire to like make games or get into making games?
Yeah, that's actually one of the things that I thought about doing career-wise, sure.
Wow.
It seemed like that would be super fun.
Yeah. That's because I remember then you went, I think, like rocket science or a few places where you kept doing a little bit of gaming stuff, right?
Yeah, actually, I worked at a gaming startup, which weirdly was called Rocket Science.
Yeah.
Fate loves irony.
Yeah.
I worked at Rocket Science programming games. It was a long time ago, and it must have been like 93 or something, or 94. Yeah, it was tricky.
Never applied to Bethesda though?
I didn't. But
He was doing other things.
Is that right?
Well, I was going to. My original plan was to go to grad school at Stanford and do study ultracapacitors for use in electric vehicles. I always wanted to do electric cars and work on like sustainable energy and then out the rockets would be cool. I mean, I can sort of talk a little about basically it's like what are the things I think are like quite important for the future to be good, and obviously, in order for the future to be good, we have to have sustainable energy. So we have to have sustainable production and consumption of energy. That means making solar panels low cost and making electric cars appealing. And then we want to become multi-planet species in a spacefaring civilization. This is rockets. And then there's some things that I thought, well, it'll affect the future, but I'm not sure if it's good or bad, like AI. This worries me, that one.
Sure.
In fact, I think...
I just made video games, it's not bad.
Yeah,
But
I was gonna do all that, but I actually don't know how to do that. So.
I think it turned out in
It's
Fallout 3, the AI basically caused World War III, as I recall, or something like that.
A little bit.
I don't want to spoil it.
I mean, is there a link there between sort of, you talk about AI and video game eye and, the technology in video games. Is there anything there that sort of, helps push technology that you think? I mean, you look at like, self-driving cars or other things. Like, are there things from video games that, you think help push technology forward?
Well, I think part of the reason I got interested in technology, maybe the reason was video games. So, I probably wouldn't have started programming if it wasn't for video games, or wouldn't have been as interested in computers and technology if it wasn't for video games. So I think actually video games are a very powerful force for getting kids interested in technology. It has way bigger knock-on effects than people may realize. And generally, like if we're interviewing somebody for a software engineering role at Tesla or SpaceX, many times they'll be like, how'd you start programming? It's like, oh, got to play video games. Over and over again. And I think many of the best software engineers in the world are at or spent much of their career at video games houses. And especially if people had to try to create incredibly realistic graphics using very little compute power, that's a hard problem. And so a lot of people had to write really tight code and come up with really clever ideas to do that. If you look at someone like, say, John Carmack, who's an amazing software engineer, but he's also actually a really good aerospace engineer. And it shows, like, problem solving, I think, does transfer. If you figure out software engineering problem solving transfers to other things.
Carmack told me the best anecdote between video games and rockets. He said rocket AI is actually, for him, quite easy. Just thrust left, thrust right. Gaming AI is so much harder. The difference is when the game crashes, he presses reboot, and when the rocket crashes, it's a giant mess spread over several miles.
Yeah, there's some joke about, like, if reality was a video game, it's sort of like the graphics are great, the plot's terrible, and the spawn time's really long.
How has the stuff Elon done inspired or affected what you do, Todd, in your world?
Well, I mean, the space stuff, as we look at Starfield, that's where we kind of look, okay, how are these things actually going to work in the future? Got to go to SpaceX last year. That place is like the Avengers meets NASA. Like, if anyone ever gets, it's incredible. But what do those things look like as we do a science fiction game?
Yeah.
But the other stuff in the cars and the self-driving is something I'm very passionate about, but that doesn't affect the game stuff. And I know that now you're putting games on the Teslas, so that's different.
Actually, thanks for helping out on that. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we talked about that, and we said, hey, would it be pretty cool? So we're actually working together. Skyrim on it? That's a little. We're gonna start a little smaller. So we are working on Fallout Shelter for the cars. Yeah, so it'll be free. You have your little dwellers on the screen that they live in the car in some way. So it's a great starting point.
So how is this going to work with games? You've talked about Unity, Unreal, and reporting it all. Being able to put Tesla. So this you have to be in park when you play these, or how does this work?
Yeah. You have to park the car.
Okay.
The fun police make us park the car.
Okay.
So yes, Yeah. Like we're also going to enable people to watch like videos, like streaming, like through the browser you'll be able to watch like Netflix or whatever, YouTube if the car is parked and connected to Wi-Fi. So if you're like say at a supercharger station and you want to watch something, you can watch it on the screen in the car. But the general principle is like how do we what can we do to make the car the most fun possible? And like, what would a car, what other cars just don't have, And so it seems like, well, if there's like you're just parked somewhere waiting for somebody to finish an appointment, or if you're on a road trip, it'd be pretty cool if you just like, go to the car screen and play some fun game. And we're just exploring like, how do we make it as fun as possible? You can already play all of the old Atari games, or almost all of the old Atari games on the car. And we hooked it up so I can connect to Xbox or PS4 controller and like actually have some pretty good control feedback. Then we have like genius moves like the fart app. It's my finest work. And it's like there's you can actually make you can make the fart sound like it's coming from any seat.
That actually is the funniest Easter egg, that one. Yeah, you gotta mention it. And then actually the names of the farts. So, there's the Falcon Heavy is one of them. Yeah. I believe.
So yeah, exactly.
And I know you got we got some clips, right, of what this is going to look
we
like?
can show some clips of some upcoming games in the car, and it's just meant to be like, hey, what are some cool games that people might like to play, and depending upon how much people play them, we'll add them to the like higher on the list, or maybe put it into sort of an archive that you can tap to download. Because this screen was not originally meant as a game player, so it doesn't actually have that much storage.
Right.
So it won't have that many games on it at any one time, but it will just be like, okay, what do people really enjoy playing, and that might be a good way to pass time. So.
Awesome. All right, let's take a look at games on Tesla. Welcome second one too, right?
Yeah, we've got a racing game that you can either play single player or two player.
All right, game 2. Check it out. Steering wheel, I wasn't prepared for that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a racing game and you have a steering wheel, sitting right there, you steer.
You talk like, can you gas and brake? Will that work too? Or
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well, I think we've got the brake is wired in, and I think we'll probably have maybe the scroll wheel for the gas pedal, just so like somebody doesn't accidentally. Sipping on the brake if you're stationary is not a problem.
Right. Gas could be. That's amazing. Well, it's so cool that you're doing that. inside the cars.